Yeah, so in the meantime, before we close out this meeting, have anyone taken time to go to look at what the end game is like what will be what the exam looks like for the end for the AAD track, for the Associate Android Developer track, and at the end of the day?
No, I haven't. But is there a way of, do you have a link like we can do that? I think that would really be helpful.
Okay, maybe I'll find something and post it within the group because it's two ways. First, you write an exam, they give you a project to build, and they give you 24 hours. The project will already be installed, just like this Lemonade project we want to work on now. The project will be written already. What you have to do is to fix the bugs within the project, and they give you 24 hours to do that. And then after that, there will be an interview where somebody from Google interviews you. And then when you're done with the project and the interview, then they can award you the certificate. So that's what it's like according to my research. So that's why working on projects like this are really, really important because at the end of the day, this is like a simulation of what we are going to do at the end of the day. So yeah.
Okay, please, I want to, is it after the phase 2, we are likely going to have that, or?
Yeah, so this is how the GADS is structured. There's a learning phase 1, which we currently are in now. Then there's a learning phase 2, which most of us are qualified for because we've scored more than 100 in our skill IQ tests. And then there's a project phase where plural sites, on plural sites, you have to work on the project on plural sites. And then after the project phase comes certification, where you now have to sit for the Associate Android Developer exam and take the interview before you get the certificate. So it's three phases before certification.
Okay. Method. With the current practice, I believe we all would be ready. I truly believe. Thanks a lot.
I believe so too.
Please, I don't mean to speak out of turn, but I think it'd be best if everybody who has not who their project have not finished building should actually indicate on the chat, maybe with a thumbs up or something, if your project has not finished building, so we know. I think for some time now we can't say if everybody's system is built or not.
Well, my own project is not done building, but I just raised my hand, so that's clear. And I think before we even proceed to the next phase of working on the project, let's allow this meeting to exhaust its time and then come back. So we start recording right from the beginning and nobody loses traction.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of waiting for. Just waiting for the meeting to end so we can start afresh in the next meeting. And by then, hopefully, we have the majority of the people's project built. But from indications now, I think apart from Legend, it's just 2 other people that indicated that their projects are still building too. So I want to be sure that it's just 3 people we are waiting for, as it is.
Is it project build in Java? Because I can see Java here.
Oh, the project is not Java, but because Android was originally built on Java, so after they allowed Kotlin to work on Android, they just interfaced it with the Java. At the end of the day, our Kotlin code gets converted to Java behind the scene. That's why you can
okay,
still see the Java folder.
Hi there, be the host. Please go ahead to share your screen.
Yes, I'm
All right.
doing that.
Okay.
I think just before the other meeting ended, I saw a chat from Noble that said the project built, but it has some errors. Please, can we know what the error is so that we can try to fix them?
Someone also sent me an inbox telling me that they had some errors in their project. But the problem is looking at the what they call it again. There was a plugin that was not downloaded. So I asked that the person close the project and open it again.
Okay, let's see how that works. Most likely at this stage, any error for now is going to be a problem with all the folders that were supposed to be downloaded. It's most likely an internet issue. So if closing and opening the project again does not work, the other thing we can do is, let me try to find that file. Okay, so Legend, how far with your build? Is it done already?
I don't know, thing is taking forever, and now I have an error. Okay.
Okay, I built mine and it worked correctly. Hello, everyone. Please, I just want to ask: is we are using Android emulator to run the code?
Actually, we can not. I'm not sure we can all use Android emulator because of different laptop capacities.
Okay, somebody was trying to say something. I don't know.
Okay, that's me. I was trying to get every other person that is using Android emulator to run their codes to try and use your Android device. It makes your code run faster. Some of the reasons why you may be running your app, or let's say it's trying to build and it's taking that long, because Android emulator drags a whole lot of RAM memory. So your code may actually run slower, and it may make your work actually tiring. So if it's your Android device, it's actually easy to set up. It doesn't require any, just plug in and go to your developer option and click it for it to be USB debugging. Then you can actually run apps on your phone directly and see how it works. If anybody needs a demo on that, either check YouTube or I can still give that demo that they need for that.
All right, thank you very much.
I don't mind just sending the demo. You can send the demo. I think that's better.
Deb, I have a null pointer exception though.
No pointer exception in your code already.
I don't know what this means. Let me close down and start again. No?
I thought I'm the only one who realized how emulator is heavy. Do you know my laptop actually crashed?
Wow. It's really very advisable to use your Android device to test projects. It's way easier that way.
Legend, is the error still in your code?
It's just rebuilding. Eh?
Okay.
Wait. No. I guess it's yeah. Let me see. I think the project has built already, sir.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, my project has built.
Good. So I think Mubarak also complained before the meeting went off that his project was still building. Mubarak, how far? Is your project built or is it still building? Mubarak, please, are you still with us so that we can move forward from here? Okay, please, for everybody that is here, who are we still waiting for? Whose project is still building? So that we can move on. Please just indicate if
Yeah,
your
please,
project.
we can move on. We can move on.
All right, that's fine. Gradle, Noble, you said it looks like it's Gradle. It's two things. It's either you go to file, then you come to, I don't know if you can see my screen. You come to invalidate caches and restart. What it does is it deletes some cached files on your system. Then it tries re-downloading everything that is broken and fixing it. So you can do that, invalidate caches and restart. So hopefully that would work. And while you're at that, I think we'll just move on now. So back to our code labs. Okay. So I think we'll resume from number 7. It said browse the project files and project windows to see how the tool is set up. I think for those that have been following the Google Code Labs from the beginning, I think we can all understand how the project file is set up. But for those that have not been using the Code Labs, I think I'll just make a very quick explanation, or should I say, I'll just tell us the folders and which we'll be working with directly. So majorly, we'll be working with folders in the Android view. You can change view, you can check the project view, the package view, but we are going to be using the Android view because it makes it easy to view the files we have to relate with directly. So when we are building an Android app, for each activity, that's for each screen that we see, it's controlled majorly by 2 files. First, we have the layout file. The layout file can be found inside the layout folder in the resources folder. You can see the activity.xml. That's our layout file. It is where we write the code of the user interface that everybody can see. Then we have the main Kotlin file where we write the functionality for our project. That can be found under Java, com.example.lemonImage, then main activity.kotlin. So for every activity, majorly, or not all the time, but most of the time, for every activity, you have those 2 files, the file that controls the UI and the file that controls the functionality, where the main Kotlin code would be. So back to our code labs, we've done the project. So they said in the main activity.kotlin, you'll find several variables used to represent the app current state. You use this in a later step to make the app interactive. While the amount of code here may seem overwhelming, you won't need to modify any of the code that isn't marked with a to-do. Specific informations are provided on the following pages. Okay, so we'll just skip to the next step, which is the 4th step in the code lab. That's build your user interface. I want to assume even if, so even if you've not been using the code labs, I think Pluralsight should have taught building interface too. I'm not sure interfaces are being built in JetBrains. I'm not using JetBrains, but at least for code labs and Pluralsight, I want to assume everybody that has used code labs and Pluralsight can follow up with and understand this build the user interface part. But at the same time, I'll just try to do a quick explanation here and there where necessary. So for the build your user interface, it says the Lemonade app requires just a basic layout. You only need two views to implement all its functionality: a text view and an image view. Literally, from the names, we can already know what they are. A text view displays a text, and an image view shows an image, just like this example we have here. This is a text view, and this is an image view. So we'll build the layout in the activity main.xml file. So in our Android Studio, I hope everybody can see their file or folder structures like this. We are going to be using this activity main.xml. So you just have to click it maybe twice to open it up. Okay, so why the code is still loading? I don't know why it's taking this long. To write our XML file, we have three different options from the tab in the right hand. First, we have this option that displays just the code. As if you don't want to use the drag and drop UI, you can write the code directly by yourself. But for the purpose of this learning right now, we are going to be using the drag and drop UI. Next, we have this view that splits between the code and the interface. That means the code on the left, then the interface on the right. You can immediately see what you are coding. Then the third option, which is what we are going to be using, is the design UI. So I want to assume that everybody can kind of find their way around this. But okay, so just do a quick recap. If you want to add a text, this is just a drag and drop interface. All we have to do is click on the text here and drag it on our interface majorly. So, okay.
You have? Okay.
And we have two views right now. We have this white one that shows the main UI, and this blue one shows like the mapping out of the page, not the main UI. So to avoid being distracted, we can just close the blue, the blueprint, yes. So if we come to this blue icon that is up here, we can see the option if you want to display just the design, just the blueprint, or the design and blueprint. So I'll click just the design to show me just the design. So delete. Okay. So let's see. We don't need to actually add any text view or image view to this layout because everything we need has been done for us. What CodeLab is trying to test with this particular activity is Kotlin. It's just our knowledge of writing the functionality, not designing the app itself. So everything we need for this particular app is already in the interface. Okay. So they said you build this layout in the activity main.xml. Then using your knowledge of the layout editor, your goal is to build a layout that looks something like below, with both views centered on screen and the text view above the image view. So this is what we are trying to build right now. say you've already used the constraint layout when working with Android Studio's layout editor. Constraint layout works well for creating stack views such as lemonade. Okay, so I'll just say if you can't follow along with what we are doing right now, probably you've not been using the code labs or Plural sites. I think to save time, you might have to just go back on your own and try to understand the constraint layouts and how it works and how you use it to build the UI. We'll not be doing that in this particular tutorial. We won't be building the UI from scratch. We'll just move along with what's in the code lab here and just go. So in this tip part, they talked about the code lab that actually teaches building the layout with the constraints layout, and that's the create a birthday card app. So if you can't follow us right now, you can just later go back to click on this create a birthday card app, and there you understand building layouts from the scratch and what all this constraint layout is all about. So for now, we'll just move to the 5th item on the list, and that is make your app interactive, which is the main thing we want to do this night. So it says once your layout is complete, open up mainActivity.Kotlin file. So go back to our Android Studio and open up the mainActivity.Kotlin file. Okay, so this is what a Kotlin file looks like. In this file, we just have the Kotlin projects that are controlling everything we see on the UI. And for this particular activity, I think you're supposed to have knowledge of the basic knowledge of creating a variable, using a variable, function, then class. Most importantly, I think those were the 3 major things we learned so far before this activity: variables, functions, and classes. So I'll just quickly explain some things. Okay, so this private val lemonade state is what we call creating a variable. So a variable is like a memory space. Okay, just think of a variable as a box where you can keep something. I don't know if this recap is necessary actually. Okay, please, if you cannot
Yes,
relate
it's very
to it.
important.
Okay.
It's important.
Okay. So let me continue then. So we'll take a variable as something like a box. Okay, when we are say when we are trying to keep our groceries or something, trying to classify them and put them inside a specific box. Say this is a box for fruits, then labeling it fruits, so that next time when you want to pick a fruit, you don't have to look at every box. You already know directly where to go. That's what a variable is like in programming too. It just makes some kind of values reusable easily. Let's say I have like the name of our app now. You know, some apps display their name on every screen. That kind of thing, when you have to reuse a particular value and you don't want to have to be remembering it or something like that every time you want to use it, you can just give it a very easy name, like to point at it, that you can be using to reference it every time. So that's what a variable is. So when we are declaring a variable, we use the keyword val, that's VAL, or var, VAR. I think you might have to just read up on your own for the difference between val and var and when you use them. But both of them are used to create a variable. And the private keyword in front of it shows that the variable can only be accessed within this class, majorly. Okay. I think I want to go back to the code labs to see what we have here. Okay, so it says open up main activity.Kotlin. This is where you implement all the apps logic. You will notice that there's already quite a bit of code. There are also many comments marked to do. These are the tasks for you to complete. Okay, so basically, of all the things we can see in the Kotlin file, the places that are marked to do are the only things we are going to be touching, because they assume that if you're taking this code lab, it means you cannot yet do some things. You can only apply the basic knowledge that they've taught. So they limited all we have to do to this point where we can see yellow to do. Yeah, this part to do, call the method that handles this. This is the first thing we're going to be doing. Then the next one to do, replace false with this. Then we'll look for the next to do's. Okay, here, and here. So those are the only parts of the whole code we are going to be touching. We are just going to be doing the instructions in the to do. And every other thing we are supposed to do has been written for us. All the codes we have here has been written for us. And it is advisable that we do not touch any other thing apart from our to do. Because if you touch some things, it might mess with the already written code and it might affect the passing of the test, which is our main goal. After all we are doing here, we are trying to, it's called test-driven development. That means the test for what we want to do is already written. And we are just trying to pass the test. Like the marking scheme is already there. We are just trying to write our own code to pass their test. So if we mess with any of the other things we are not supposed to mess with, it might affect the way the app passes the test majorly. So back to our instructions, it says there are 3 basic things you will need to implement to get the Lemonade app working. The first thing, we have to configure the lemonImage. That's our image view to respond to user inputs. The second thing, we have to implement the clickLemonImage to update the app state. Then the third thing is to implement the setView elements to update the UI based on the app's current states. So our step 1, that is configure the image view. Okay, basically, I think we might at this stage want to build our projects so that we can see what the app looks like right now and we can notice the change as we move on. So like, I can't remember who talked about not running your app on the emulator. If your system has less than, say, 6 or 8 gig RAM, it is not advisable to have an emulator at all, not to talk of using it, because it is very RAM intensive. So it gets to slow down the laptop, and in some people's case, it hangs the laptop. So for building the project, we are going to be using our physical device. I think they already sent a tutorial on building to a physical device. So, but in my own case, I'll be building to the emulator so that I can display what we are doing. And because my laptop, so if your laptop can actually, if you've used an emulator on your laptop before, it's fine, you can use it. But if you've not used it before and your system is not using, I think, up to 6 gig RAM, I think it's advisable to just use your own physical device. That's your Android device. Okay. I think at this stage, I would want to know if we have our devices ready. You will need your phone, basically, and your USB code. That's the USB code that allows for data transfer. If we have it ready, so that we can do the building together. So please indicate if you have your device and your USB code ready so that we can build the app now.
Yeah, I'm set.
Okay.
Hi, Debbie.
Hi.
Let's not build it yet until we come back, because this meeting is about to end.
Okay. So we have like
Yeah, but in the meantime, everyone else can go and get their Android device and their USB cords. or if you're using your Android emulator on your uh, computer, you can go ahead with that.
Okay, so I think majorly I'll just explain the difference between the people that will be using the emulator and people that will be using their devices. I think the major difference would be in this part where I am clicking right now. Yes. So if you've connected your Android device and you've enabled USB debugging from developer option, once you connect your device to your laptop, your device is supposed to show up on this list, basically. On my own list, I have Pixel 5 and Pixel 3a, which are emulators that are running on the system. But if your physical device is connected to the system, you should see it on the list here too.
Yeah, and maybe I should mention too, if you're using a physical device and you plug it in on one cord and it does not show on one of the USB points in your computer, and it does not show up telling you to choose what happens to this device and the notification that the computer um, issues, you should just plug it on another port, because sometimes some of the ports have gotten weak over time and they may need some maintenance. So yeah, that's that. Sometimes you have those little issues and it stops you from doing what you're supposed to do. But then if you plug it in and it works successfully, you should see your device showing up where Debbie has her Pixel 5 API setting. Your device should also show up there. Hi Deb, I've built mine and it has failed already. So it's saying fail to find build tools revision 30.0.03. I don't know if that's supposed to happen.
No, that's not supposed to happen. That's so not supposed to happen.
Okay. Maybe I should go and start troubleshooting.
So I have a question. So we are now trying to run the code so that we can see which places or they are missing. That is, or what is missing.
Yeah, basically, we are just trying to see the project, how it looks right now before we start building, so that we can notice our elements as we are adding them.
Oh, okay, I understand.
And in the meantime, Legend, I think I'll just search for the solution to your build too, just in case anybody else comes down with the same error.
All right. I'm doing so on my end already.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, please, you can do so too, just in case anyone else has the error. So we see it on screen.
Okay, so I hope everybody now has their devices around. Got it. Okay, so I'll just connect mine too and try to build it now. Okay, so for those that have not built theirs before the meeting went off, once your device shows up and you click it, you click the play button that is here. That play button is for running the app. So once you click the play button, the project starts building. So it's Gradle build running. Please, I hope everybody else is in the process of building their project right now.
Yes, I'm in the process of building mine, and I've fixed the bug.
Oh, that's good. So you downloaded the SDK again?
No,
Sorry,
no, I
I have a
didn't have.
question. I'm a little bit lost. Sorry, can I ask my question?
Yeah, sure.
For like my today, I don't have to do any readings on my laptop. So using the phone now, I really don't understand what you're trying to do. Like, if I'm using my device now, does that mean that whatever thing I want to do is supposed to have been on the laptop prior to the phone now?
I didn't get that.
You said we can connect our Android device, right?
Yes.
What I'm saying now is I don't have access to my laptop currently.
Okay. Oh,
So there is no how I can use.
okay.
Do you
So there's
understand what I'm
no
trying to
how
say?
you can build the project. You just have to
Yes.
wait
So
till
the
you.
other question I'm now asking now is the other question I'm asking now is before when we started, you actually built the project via your laptop. So if I'm connecting the phone, as in I'm a little bit lost now. Do you understand?
Yeah, I get how you'd connect the phone and build the project, right?
Am I going to build it again?
Yes, you.
Or I should just stick to one, either laptop or the phone?
Okay, so the point is you can use either the laptop or the phone. If your laptop has the capacity to run Android emulator, you can just build it on your laptop without using the phone. Or
Above, right?
yes,
6 gig and above, right?
yes.
So my laptop is not up to that.
Okay,
It's not up to
so
that.
it's advisable. It might be able to run it, but most times, if it's not up to 6 gig, it's just advisable to build it to your phone directly. It's faster and it's safer for your laptop. So,
Okay. So to build it on my phone, I still need to go through all those GitHub processing and everything.
no, if you have the project on your laptop already, you don't have to go through the GitHub process. The
Okay, if
the
I have the
GitHub project was
folder
just to
already.
yes, the Git project was just to download the project itself. So if you have the project already, it's just running it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But somebody was talking about developer settings or thereabouts. Was it Precious or I can't remember. Like when you connect your when you connect your phone to your laptop via your USB cable USB debugging, do I need to adjust the settings on my phone?
Yes, before you can build to your phone the first time, you have to allow USB debugging. I think they already sent a tutorial to the WhatsApp group chat on how to do that.
Okay, so when I watch the demo, okay.
Yes.
Okay,
So
all right.
you
Thank
should be
you.
clear on that.
Well done. Thanks.
Thank you too.
Yeah,
Okay.
so let me just add to that. Let me map out the whole process so you understand it. So say, for example,
Okay.
you want to work on this Lemonade project. The first thing you have to do is to download Lemonade from GitHub to your computer, and then go to Android Studio and open up the Lemonade folder. Allow Android Studio to build the project and show you this screen that we have now. You open the main activity.kotlin file. That is done. So you are at this screen now. Now, what you want to do is build the project and see what it's like. At that point, what you do is take your Android device, go to that tutorial I sent to the group, watch it and follow it. Open up developer option on your Android device and activate USB debugging. Then when that is done, you take your USB, plug it to your computer, and plug the other end to your phone. At that point, your computer will show you options that what do you want to do with this device and so on and so forth. At that point, since USB debugging is already activated on your phone, you should see your device showing up where we have Pixel 5 API 30 on dev screen. Your device should show up there. And once your device shows up there, press this play button that is right in front of it. And the project builds and installs the app on that device, on your phone. So it installs the app on your phone, and you can now open up the app on your phone and interact with it and see what it's like. So that's the process.
Thank you for that explanation, right? Thank you so much. So please, I want to know if for everybody else that has their device or their emulator up, I want to know if we've all built our project and what it looks like.
I have a question now that you all are building. I wanted to ask something about learning phase 2. So what are we going to be doing phase 2 since you are going to complete all the progress sites on learning phase 1?
So basically, we are not to complete all the videos in phase 1. It's not a prerequisite for qualification. The prerequisite is watch 10 hours or score 100%. Or score 100 in the skill IQ test. So if you watch up to 10 hours of the videos on plural sites, you've qualified for phase 2. You don't have to watch all the videos. No, you just have to watch 10 hours of those videos. Or you write your skill IQ test and you score 100 or above 100. So for those people that have written the skill IQ test and scored above 100, they've qualified. And those people that have watched up to 10 hours on plural sites, they've also qualified. So now when you get to phase 2, it's a continuation of what we've done in phase 1. So in phase 2, presently we are building the NoteKeeper app. Jim Wilson is building the NoteKeeper app. When it gets to phase 2, he gets deeper into it. So he starts talking about notifications. I don't know if it's part of this one. I've not watched a lot of plural site videos. He starts talking about things like notification, Android security, how to use Android Studio better, and so on and so forth. So you just get more videos that teach you more about the whole development process. So they are releasing it in phases. What we have in phase 1 now is what we have. When we get to phase 2, we have a continuation of what we presently have. So that's it.
Okay, majorly after building the app, what we are going to be seeing is a screen like this, but without the image. Just a screen with the yellow banner on top and click to select a lemon text in the middle. That's what's showing right now on the screen. Please, are we all on the same page to that extent? For those that have their devices.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So going back to our code labs. next thing we are supposed to do, which is our step 1 here, is configure the image view. Now we know the image is not yet showing, but we're supposed to configure the image to receive a tap from a user. We all know what a click is, so we want to configure the image that is going to be showing. The image is not showing right now, but the image will show up along the line. So we want to configure it to receive a click. That means to respond to a click from our app user. So the first thing we're going to do, it said number 1, we're going to use setOnLongClickListener, which will update the app state. Okay, I think I will just run through what we have in our Kotlin file right now so that we can relate with what's on the code labs instruction. Okay. I'm sorry, I want to close my emulator too. So, okay. So like I said before, all we have here is private values. Private values are variables in programming. That's what they are called, variables, where we keep some values. So let's say this lemonade state is like the label we keep on a box to identify the box, while the other lemonade states inside the quotation marks are the value we are keeping. So right now it's like we created a variable with this private val keyword. We labeled the variable, we give it a name so that we can reuse it. Then what we need is kept inside the variable. That's why we have equal to is assigned to the variable. And then there's something in Kotlin called functions, which is what we are saying here. Now, a function is like a way to group a set of activities that leads to a particular end. Okay, say right now I'm seated, but I want to close the door. In order to close the door, I have to get up first. I have to walk towards the door. Then I have to shut the door, like push it closed. Now, those are 3 different steps, but the 3 of them grouped together are to achieve a particular thing, which is to close the door. So a way to group those 3 different steps to achieve that particular thing, in programming we call it a function. That's grouping lines of code. We can see that every code is on a line. Lemonade state equals to save instance. This particular one is one line. This particular one is another line. So grouping lines that achieve the same thing together happens with a function. And how we identify a function is, okay, this is an example of a function. This private func, just like to recognize a variable, we see var and vowels in front of it. To recognize a function, we see fun in front of it. So the private shows that the function is limited, like the scope of the function. The literal meaning of private, that means not everybody can see it. That's what the private keyword in front of our function here means, that just this file can use the function. Then we have the keyword. Keywords are words that have special meaning to every programming language. Like there are some particular words that are reserved. Now, when you create a variable or a function, we can see all our variables here. They have different name. The name of this variable is lemonade state. This is lemon size, squeeze counts. You can give your variable any name. You can give your function, this particular function we are using is called clickLemonImage, this faint text. You can name your variables and function any name, but there are some words that are reserved in programming that have special meaning by default to the programming language. And an example is this fun, this private. It means you cannot name your variable private. or your function private, because private already has a special meaning to the programming language as it is. So basically, this is a function, and the special thing that we used to recognize it being a function is first the keyword, which is fun, then after the name of the function. Now we can notice after the names of the variable, we just have equal to give it a value. But after a function name, you have this parentheses. That's another major way you know a function. Then this open curly brace shows the beginning of the function, and this closing one below here shows the end of the function. So when I click on this one, the other one gets highlighted. So that's the other one on top here. So it shows that everything between this open brace and the closed brace works together to achieve whatever the function does. And most of the times when we are naming functions, we name them as verbs that shows what they do. So from this function name, we can see that the name is clickLemonImage. It means everything between this open curly brace and this closing curly brace helps to achieve the goal of clicking a lemon image, basically. This is another function that sets view elements, the same parentheses, open bracket and close bracket. So that means, open curly brace and closed curly brace. Everything between the two curly brace helps to achieve the goal of setting a view element, which is the name of our function. We have a third function here that is show snack bar. Everything between this open parentheses and the closed one helps to achieve the goal of showing the snack bar, like our function name indicates. Okay, so I think I'll stop there for now. And back to our code labs. Still on step 1, that is configure the image view. Basically, they said tapping the image view should move the app from one state to another. At the end of the onCreate, notice that there are 2 listeners that need to be set. So we'll go look for the onCreate function in our code. So we'll come back to Android Studio and look for onCreate function. So this is our onCreate function, as we can see, onCreate fun. So they said at the end, our onCreate function starts from here and it ends here. So they said at the end, we can see 2 listeners. We have the setOnClickListener and setOnLongClickListener. Remember, in our code labs, it says the setOnClickListener should update the app state. The method to do this is clickLemonImage. Okay, so back to our code. Literally, we can imagine what the setOnClickListener does. We can see something like lemonImage. We know. Okay, so when we come back to our code labs, there's the Google Code Lab. No. Okay, so in the Google Code Lab, we can see this page with a lemon image and our text. So from our code, we can see lemonImage.setOnClickListener. Without even having an idea of programming, we can guess what that does. That means this is saying set a listener. That means your app should listen for click on the lemon image, right? Like just listen for click, just wait for a user click on the lemon image. Now it's like wait on a user click on the lemon image. When you get a click, what should you do? Everything, remember we say within the 2 curly braces, everything that comes in between helps to achieve the goal of whatever is here. Right now, what the goal we want to achieve is what happens when a user clicks on the lemon image. So that's our first to do for today. What they want us to do is call a method that handles the states when the image is clicked. So back to the instruction in our code labs, it says our setListener, what it should do is update the app state, right? Now, we don't know anything about update the app state, but they told us that the method to do this is the clickLemonImage function. Remember, we say anywhere we have this parenthesis signifies a function. So they are telling us that when a user clicks on the image, our onClickListener should call this method, which is the clickLemonImage function. So back to our code. Instead of the to do now, what we are supposed to do is call the method. And from our code labs instruction, the code that does that is the clickLemonImage function, right?
This code lab, this code lab code, this GitHub code now. I'm seeing something like findViewByid. In the plural site, they said something like you can use the ID name itself. And I want to know which one came later. Like, what's the modern one we can use now? Can we use just the ID, or we should go on to use this findViewByid?
It's always better to use findViewByid is a function in Kotlin,
Okay.
and especially used on Android for Android development. So basically, when you have an image or you have a string, that image has an ID. That ID is an identifier to that image. So say, for example, in this program that we're about to build, we'll have up to 3 images or so. Each of them should have a name. So findViewByid allows this main activity file to go to activity main XML to find that image, so that anytime you interact with it from this main activity, it updates in this XML file. So that's what findViewByid does, and it's a standard. That's been a standard for so long.
Okay,
let me
so
say something.
okay.
Okay, actually, the other one is called Kotlin extension and it's deprecated. So if you see any code that is using the ID directly, it works, but it's deprecated. So findViewByid is actually advisable, but there is the new one in view binding. If you follow code labs, like along the line, they will introduce it to view binding. That is actually easier to use than findViewByid. But you can still use this one. But Kotlin extension is deprecated.
Oh, okay. The using of the ID directly is deprecated. Abi.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I think that's what I
That
just
was
wanted
the
to. Okay.
Okay, so thank you for the time. I'm back. So I think before this meeting ends, we'll just do the part of calling the method that is supposed to undo the onClickListener. So the name of the method is clickLemonImage. Now I'll just quickly explain something. Remember we said to declare a function, you write the function keyword, the function name, then we write a block of code. Now, this part where we did here is like creating the function. Is like, okay, telling someone that to shut the door. These are the steps you take. You get up, you walk to the door, then you close the door. But you've not actually told the person to shut the door. You just gave the instructions. So that's what we did here. Private function, all these parts, we are just listing out all the steps, you understand, to take to perform the action of clickLemonImage, but we have not actually asked anything to do that action of click the lemon image, which is what we can notice that the name clickLemonImage is written in a faded out text kind of. So the place where we want that clickLemonImage actions to happen is at this point, our first to do. So we want all those things to happen when a user clicks on lemonImage. So right now, what we are going to do is called calling the function or calling the method, which is the same thing as actually now telling the person to go and shut the door with the steps we've previously listed. So we just type our clickLemonImage, clickLemonImage, and our parenthesis is what differentiates between calling just a variable and calling a function. Remember when we're declaring our function, we used the parentheses. Now, if you notice, the clickLemonImage, the function name, is now highlighted, like it's not active. That means we are now using it somewhere. Before it was inactive, nobody was using it, so it was faded out. But now, because we've called it, now when we declared a variable, we only used the name. So when we are calling it to, we only call it by the name. When we declare a function, we put a parenthesis after. So when we are calling a function to, we have to put the parenthesis to signify that it's the function that we are calling. So right now we can remove this first to-do code because we've actually done what they want us to do, which is call the method that handles the states. We can just go ahead and delete the code. Okay, so because our time is fast spent, I would kind of move faster. So I want to believe we are all on the same page with our first to do, which was to call the method that happens when our lemonImage is clicked. So now to the second one, which is in setOnLongClickListener method. What this particular method is supposed to do is respond to events where the user long presses on an image, e.g. when the user taps on an image and doesn't immediately release their fingers. Just like we know click is just touching it, long press, when you hold it down a little longer, what should happen? So it says for long press events, a widget called a snack bar appears at the bottom of the screen, letting the user know how many times they've squeezed the orange. This is done with the show snack bar method. So this black container is what we call the snack bar. So that's what we are going to be implementing in our second listener, which is the setOnLongClickListener. We are supposed to show the snack bar, called this show snack bar method. Okay, so we are coming back to. I didn't get that. Okay, so we are coming back to our Kotlin code, and in our second to do, that's setOnClickListener. The to do is replace false with a call to the function that shows the squeeze count, which is the function that shows the snack bar. So we are taking out the false and replacing it with a call to the show snack bar method. Okay, so we are replacing all that code with a call to our show snack bar method. Snack bar method. So that's our second to do. Now we just got rid. Okay, so back to our code labs. We are done with the second to do. I said, note, it is important that you do not change the name of any existing method. Okay, that. In the next step, you will implement the logic for changing the app state. So our step 2, remember we called the clickLemonImage method, but if we go take a look at the actual function where it was written, we can see we have a bunch of to-dos and no actual code. So we are the one that is going to be writing all that will happen when the lemon image is clicked. So it says, after completing the previous step, the clickLemonImage method is now called each time the user taps the image. This method is responsible for moving the app from the current state to the next and updating any variables as needed. There are 4 possible states: select, squeeze, drink, and restart. The current state is represented by the lemonade state variable. This method needs to do something different for each state. Okay, so this is, let me take it back to the app overview and just explain what we are going to do basically. Okay, so these are the 4 states mentioned in that page. So this will be the first page of the application. We'll have a call to click to select a lemon. The image is supposed to be a lemon tree. Then you're supposed to select the lemon. So when the user selects the lemon, that's when the user clicks this image, it takes you to this page next where we have the lemon. Then the user is supposed to click to juice the lemon. That's, you click the lemon image a specific number of times to juice the lemon. Then when that is done, it will take to this page where the user is supposed to click to drink the lemon. Then when the user clicks this image, it takes you to the last page where the cup is empty after drinking the lemon. That is to start again. That takes us back to the first page. So basically, we need a way to know which of these pages is displaying, especially since their content is like almost the same thing, you understand? But they do different things. So at every point in time, we need a way to track which particular interface is displaying at every time so that we can determine what to do when the user clicks the image. If we are on this page, when the user clicks, it moves to the next one. If we are on this one, so at the particular moment, we have to know what exactly is displayed on our interface. So back to our activity. So that's what this place is majorly. First, they said they said there are 4 possible states, which is select. Select is the state for that first page where they're supposed to select a lemon. The second page is defined by the squeeze state. The third page is defined by the drink state, and the fourth page is defined by the restart state. So, and we know that for each of these states, we have different things that we do. That means for each page that is going to be displayed at a particular time, we have a separate action for every other page. So if the select page is on display, that's the first page, what we want to do is move to the squeeze state. The state is how we track which of the 4 major activities the app performs for major activities. Like which stage are we in the 4? Like which of the 4 are we right now? We track that through the states. So when we are in the select state, we want to move the app to the squeeze state. That's the first thing. Number 2, we want to set the lemon size. The lemon size is like, remember the second page was something like tap to squeeze the lemon. And we are going to be writing a math function that gives every user a random number of times to squeeze the lemon. So some people might have to squeeze the lemon 5 times. That means you have to click the screen 5 times to squeeze the lemon. Some people might have to squeeze it just once, that kind of thing. So at that first page, the things we want to do: transition to squeeze state, set the lemon size number, call the pick method, and all. So for each of the states, they're telling us what we are going to do. Once you've handled all the update and transitions, be sure to call the set view element. So we are going back to our code to implement the clickLemonImage logic. Now, this is the clickLemonImage. The first to do we have here is use a conditional statement like if or when to track the lemonade state. Okay, so a quick explanation. Conditional statement, just like the name just like the name literally means, like it gives condition, like before you do an action, this condition must be met. Before you shut the door, it must be open. You cannot shut an already closed door. So it's like if the door is open, that's why we have this E. Remember, we talked about keywords. If and when are keywords, they have special meaning. So if the door is open, shut the door. But if the door is not open, leave the door, something like that. When that same way. So we are going to use the conditional statement to track the lemonade state. Remember, we said it can be in squeeze state, select state, restart. So it's like we are going to tell you that if the app is in this state, do this. If the app is in another state, do this. If the app is in this state, do this. So that's what we are doing in our first to do. When the image is clicked, we may need to change the state to the next step in the lemonade baking process also. So the first line says use a conditional statement like if. So going to, I don't want to remove all these to-dos yet because they are quite many and we might not remember them. So I'll just go to the next line under it and try to follow up what I have to do. So every programming language has its own syntax. That means the way we write them. So just like we declare our function like this, there's a way you write an if statement for your programming language to understand it. Very good. Where's my cursor? I don't know, my system is hanging up. I'm having serious problems with typing. Yeah.
My question is, are we going to complete everything today? Or we can schedule another day and finish?
So while you were away, we were asking if we're going to complete it tonight or reschedule the remaining parts for another day, seeing as time has gone.
All right, that's understandable. So when next should we have the rest of the meeting? When next can we have? Can we do this tomorrow?
Yes, we can still do this tomorrow. I mean, it should be consistent when.
Okay, that's fine.
Tomorrow should be fine.
Deb, will you be available for tomorrow?
Yes, I would be tomorrow.
I think 8 p.m. West African time is good, right?
Yeah, it's okay. I don't know. Probably everybody should speak so that we can agree to a time.
Yeah, but then your own time is kind of high priority. So if
Right.
8 p.m. is good for you, then we'll find a way to work around it for others.
8 p.m. is good for me.
That's fine. I wanted us to start a bit earlier because I knew it was going to take a lot of time. I estimated 2 hours, but clearly we're running more than 2 hours. That's one. And then I was also considering uh, um, our colleagues that are in other time zones. So that's it. It's fine. Let's continue tomorrow by 8 p.m. That'll be a lot better.
May I suggest that we have the meeting by 7. I think the lady there is saying that today by now we are this 12 something a.m. by her time. That means
Yes.
7 should be around 9 by her time already. So if we are not having much people that are having a lag in their time zone, that means our 7 is their own 4, then or their own 3 or their own 5 thereabout. Then I think it's better we have it by 7. So
I think I can try to do 6:45, but anytime from 6:30, I will still be in transit. I'll still be on my way from work. So I think the earliest I can do is 6:45. Then 7 should be fine. I think I can make 7.
Thank you so much.
If it will
I
not affect anybody
appreciate.
else. And everybody else are not speaking. It's 7 fine, so that we can conclude on what we can.
Yeah, 7 is fine from my end.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we'll do 7 then. Precious. Okay. I think we'll just continue by 7 p.m. tomorrow then. I don't know. It seems Precious is not here. Thank you all for coming along, and thank you for the patience with the
you are in the highest position to be thanked. You've been talking for practically 2 hours, and I know just thanks. I don't want to say much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Debbie. You have really done a lot.
Thank
Thank you.
you for listening.
Also, thank you. Thank you so much for your time, actually.
Okay, I want to ask a question. By 7 tomorrow, you start from where you stopped, right?
Yes, I'll start from where I stopped.
Okay, I don't know if Precious should be here. If Precious is not here, I know he would have loved to say one or two things, but still, I want to urge everybody to even just to go to the site itself and see how we. Because I myself am going to do that also. Go and see what we can learn on it. If at all we can learn one or two things on it before it starts tomorrow, because so that it will make her work faster in the
It's
sense that
fine.
while she's teaching, we don't have to go back on things, and or maybe things will get confusing at the most. So she can go really fast compared to. I think that would be helpful to both me and everybody, and I think I'll be doing that too. So I just want to say that. Okay, thanks, Ola.
Okay, so I think we can call it a night then. Good night, everybody. Have a great night's rest. We'll meet again tomorrow.
Okay.
And I think Precious will just drop anything he has on the group chat on WhatsApp.
Okay. Good night. Thanks, Ola.
Mm.
Bye.
Thanks. Good night, everyone.